What is up, guys? Welcome to the latest edition of Domo Movie Talk. I thought I'd give you another video, because I haven't been doing many showing my face recently, and I think the last one I did was my Scream 3 review. I still have to do my Friends Season 2 review. Don't worry, I'm gonna get it out there, hopefully today, maybe tomorrow. But Movie Talk, that's the most important thing. SDCC is going on right now. We got a whole lot of things happening, and just thought I'd talk about some of the stuff that's recently been going on, and I totally didn't even notice that. Well, Thanos and Capable were over here, and now they're back. But we're gonna have 7 stories today. I'm limiting myself to that, and we'll do another one tomorrow. But there's a reason why we're doing more stories during SDCC. We're gonna do more stories during cons, because there's a lot more to talk about, because there's more being revealed. So, let's just get into the first story. Disney fires Guardians of the Galaxy director, James Gunn. And this is an updated version, because this has an actual official statement from Gunn and why. So, getting into the title, Disney and Marvel Studios have officially cut ties with Guardians of the Galaxy film series writer and director James Gunn. The decision was made shortly after older tweets from the filmmaker's now deleted Twitter account, where he jokes and about sensitive topics like pedophilia and rape were brought to light in an article published by right-wing political site The Daily Caller. Conservative commentators like Jack Prosbeck, who works for the consecutive I just woke up like 30, 40 minutes ago, so I'm like, my brain's not fully processing this stuff. The conservative cable television channel One American News Network then joined the call for Gunn to be fired. Gunn's frequent criticisms of President Donald Trump are believed to be the main reason why he was targeted by right-wing outlets to begin with. Well, I'm not going to get into that, because if I do, YouTube will definitely take me down, because I have very different political views. Plus, my YouTube channel, as a 14-year-old, I don't really want to share my political views. I don't find it, like, for this channel, it's just to have fun. This channel is really for fun and entertainment that I hope you guys enjoy. And it's never about, like, hey, you have to agree with me. It's never about that. So, yeah. Walt Disney Studios chairman Alan Horn has confirmed the decision to sever ties with Gunn in an official statement. Gunn posted his own statement over several tweets on his Twitter account prior to deleting his account, writing, "Many people who have followed my career know when I started. I viewed myself as a provocateur, making movies and telling jokes that were outrageous and taboo. I have discussed publicly many times. As I have developed as a person, so has my work and my humor." He went on to emphasize that his days of saying things purely for the sake of shock value are over, adding, "In the past, I have apologized for humor of mine that hurt people. I truly felt sorry and meant every word of my apologies." See, all these issues are coming out. All of these issues are coming out after he deleted these tweets that have accordingly been numbered at over 10,000. Almost 10 years ago. This was all almost a decade ago. Next year will have been a decade. So it's like, oh, so you hire him, let him make 2 movies, and then you fire him. Like, you would have known about it, Disney. Like, don't hire somebody you know has done this, then. If you really want to fire him based upon that reason, don't hire him to begin with, and you won't have to worry about that situation. It's crazy to think that people actually do this, and then, like, they apologize for it, which is fine. I can, if I wanted to, I'd make offensive jokes. I would never apologize, because I'm 14. Really, I know there will be repercussions, but it's really my humor. I have a very dry, twisted, demented sense of humor, and it's just the way that I work in my field of the internet. It's like if you don't have at least some form of dry humor, you might as well just not even be here. So, and plus, people can be toxic, so you gotta come up with random shit to counteract that. And that, please don't WhatsApp. But yeah, I do have a dry humor. I'm just like him back 9 years ago, except I don't like make pedophilia jokes. Um, and I used to make rape jokes, but I stopped doing that when I found out a friend of mine was raped. I never figured that out until that happened. So I just stopped doing that, and then we were fine. We as soon as I stopped doing that, we were fine, and I have never made a rape joke since like 3 years ago. And I have never ever in my life made a pedophilia joke. Unless I was watching Predator Chronicles by Mr. Gigi. By the way, I'll leave a link to those videos in the description, because those videos are fucking hilarious. He pretty much does the exact same thing I would do to pedophiles. So, anyway, among other things, this means Gunn will not be writing and directing the currently developed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 after having called the shots on the previous two movies in the series. Here is the statement from Horn concerning the decision to fire Gunn from the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. The offensive attitudes and statements discovered on James's Twitter feed are indefensible and inconsistent with our studio's values, and we have severed our business relationships with him. So then why the fuck? It just doesn't. What? You know what? We have another story after this. We're going to have 8 stories today, and not the amount that I thought we were going to have. I thought we were just going to say, okay, 7. Nope, just saw another one. Prior to his time making films in the MCU, Gunn was known for directing idiosyncratic genre films that blend dark humor with otherwise twisted content, including the sci-fi horror Slither and the comic book-inspired costume satire Super. Both of those are incredible movies. I really do recommend them. I do think Super was a Netflix exclusive, though, which kind of sucks, but Slither is terrifying. I've seen it so many times. I love it. It's so good. As the filmmaker noted in his statement on Twitter, he was similarly known for pushing the boundaries of poor taste with his earlier directorial efforts in general, less so his writing on studio projects like the live-action Scooby-Doo movies. Did not know he wrote those. I feel bad for him, even more now, because he had to write those pieces of garbage. I love Freddie Prinze Jr., I love Matthew Lillard, love Sarah Michelle Gellar, but can't get behind those movies. However, since he joined the MCU and began making Guardians of the Galaxy films, Gunn has been praised for becoming notably more family-friendly in his comedy and otherwise mature in his storytelling sensibilities. See? You guys had such a good thing going on, and you killed it, Disney. And that's why I would never be able to work for Disney, is because I can't keep my twisted sense of humor out of anything. I would always be making, if I was ever making a comic book film, it would be rated R. If I went to Paramount, pitched an R-rated Optimus Prime movie, or an R-rated Unicron movie, or a Megatron movie, there's going to be twisted humor in there, and there's going to be very much scenes that children should not be watching. Not saying like Transformers sex scenes. Hell no. That is, whoa, no. Beast Wars gave us the epitome of why you shouldn't do that. Pretty much. I mean, there was never a sex scene in Beast Wars, but it was like hints at it, and it's like, nope. And really, an R-rated Optimus Prime movie or Unicron or Megatron makes sense. I feel like Decepticon should get R-rated films, more than the Autobots should. But Optimus Prime, with the way he is, he should get an R-rated movie. And plus, I'd hell watch it. I'd make it. But I would say, like, no. Any child who wants to see this movie, do not let them see it. It's not even suitable for children. even if their parents okay it. Like, it's not okay. Disney is already being criticized for handling the situation with Gunn far differently from how its subsidiary, the Disney ABC television group, dealt with Roseanne Barr, the ex-star of their sitcom Roseanne, who wasn't fired from the series until well after her known history of making offensive jokes and racist comments on social media had been brought to light. Others are either taking issue with how the Mouse House has handled the situation on its own terms and simply trying to process the reality that the cosmic side of the MCU now has permanently lost one of its key architects. Gunn, as it were, is presented in San Diego for the International Comic-Con, but will no longer be making a special appearance during Sony's Hall H panel as originally planned. And that's unfortunate. I had such high hopes for Guardians Volume 3, and if Gunn isn't directing it, I don't care. Gunn should be the one to direct it. He wrote the damn thing. I had to assume now, since Disney's fired him, they're gonna scrap the entire thing that he wrote, and that's gonna piss me off. I'm gonna put my computer on the charger so it doesn't die. So moving on to our next story. This is a horror-related story. Can't wait for this. I love horror. It's my favorite thing on the planet. So, Michael Myers might make a jack-o'-lantern out of a victim. Okay, let's get into it. As if Michael Myers wasn't brutal enough, Halloween 2018 may see the seasonal slasher take All Hallows Eve on one step too far and make a jack-o'-lantern out of one unfortunate victim. Though barely hinted at it in the trailer, NECA's brand new Michael Myers figure suggests this may be the case. Set 40 years after John Carpenter's 1978 seminal horror classic, which was actually technically a rip off of Black Christmas, but really that came out 4 years earlier, and nobody really watched Black Christmas since it was more geared toward Canadian audiences than it was to American. So like when Carpenter made so when Halloween comes out, it was more wide release to everybody, and Americans really gravitated toward it instead of Black Christmas. And also POV shot, that was also taken for Black Christmas, but then again, Norman Bates was doing that before both of them, 14 years, and then when Halloween comes out, 18 years. So that was almost 20 years of Psycho by the time that Halloween does the Michael Myers shot. I refer to it as the Norman Bates shot, or Mother shot, because that's what it was first used in. Also Peeping Tom. Even though that wasn't technically horror, I don't classify it as horror. I classify it as thriller, but horror and slash thriller is technically part of the same. It's like thriller is like a subgenre of horror, but anyway. Set 40 years. Never mind. This year's Halloween revisits Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis, as she awaits the return of Michael Myers, the mass killer who nearly took her life 4 decades prior. However, the arrival of a film crew documenting Michael's grisly past aligns with the killer breaking out of Smith Grove Sanitarium and retracting his steps back to Haddonfield to finish what he started. Now, aside from retconning all of the sequels and remakes in the franchise between 1978 and 2018, I'm sorry. Halloween appears to feature a decidedly more violent Michael Myers, which may potentially result in him carving out one of the victims' faces into a human jack-o'-lantern. I really hope that happens. That would be so awesome. I would so love to see him. I mean, in the trailer, you see him, like, with that redhead chick who's hot and British. Double whammy. Put his hand on the door and then drop all of the teeth from that one dude he got the jumpsuit from, is where I'm assuming he got the teeth from. and then he begins to shake the door, and then it's just like, what Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie? Bruce Willis, you full of shit. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. To me, it is. He can have his opinion. He was in it. He can have his opinion, but we're never going to take it as fact. And if we people, fans of Die Hard, see it as a Christmas movie, we will. Sorry, that was super sidetracked. But, like, I would love to see someone, like, I would love to see him on screen, like, put a knife into someone's head and then arrange it into a jack-o'-lantern. That would be so cool, so bloody, and so gory that would just be would have to be one of the most iconic kills in any horror franchise. Possibly one of the most iconic kills in cinema history, because there are really iconic kills, like damn it, Alan. My brain is blanking. One of the Jason kills, from Jason X. Adrian, that's right. Liquid nitrogen. The cockroach kill from, Dream Master? No, that's from, no, that is from Dream Master. And then, Jennifer's television kill in Dream Warriors. That was also one of the greats. Also Glenn's in the first film. That was a good one too. NECA, National Entertainment Collectibles Association, who doesn't want to apparently give an apology to Matt Brando. Fuck you, Randy. Products look fucking awesome, but fuck you. Won't give an apology to fucking Matt Brando, you bitch. Debuted a brand new 7-inch scale action figure of Michael Myers from Halloween 2018 at San Diego Comic-Con this year, offering potential story details from the movie, aside from a headstone of Michael's sister, Judith, his first victim of the original Halloween, a knife and hammer, interchangeable hands, and a jack-o'-lantern with heart-shaped eyes. The figure also comes with a severed head of one of Michael's victims, and while the identity of the character is not included in the packaging description, the head features some gruesome details that appear as though Michael attempted to keep with the season and carve his face like a jack-o'-lantern. The severed head is missing its eyes, and one of the nostrils sliced off, and it has a mouth widened to appear as though it's smiling. Take a look. Let's take a look at this tweet, shall we? If it would load. Loading. Never mind, we're not gonna load, because it's... taking a look at it right here, right now, it looks fantastic. And those eyes, oh my god, that figure looks so... That head just looks so good. Looks like we're getting more Friday the 13th. But, like, everything looked so good here. Holy shit. Great job, NECA. Though Michael Myers' style of killing seems relatively tame in the first Halloween compared to the now retcon sequels, he did show off a sense of creative flair between digging up his sister's headstone and propping it against Annie Brackett's corpse. Nancy Kyes, who played Nancy Brackett, in case you didn't know, and dressing up as a makeshift ghost. Michael has proven his macabre, or whatever, macabre love for the Halloween season. So it isn't entirely far-fetched that he would explore that creative flair even further. And while it isn't specified who exactly the severed head belongs to, it may turn out to be one of the documentarians named Martin Jefferson Hall. Though Martin has longer hair and a beard in the movie, a blink and you'll miss it moment in the trailer suggests that he is decapitated at the auto repair shop moments before Michael attacks the other documentarian, Dana, when she is in the bathroom stall. In the scene, Michael drops a handful of teeth onto the door by Dana's feet. That's what I'm talking about. and appears to slam a severed head into the door. And while it's entirely possible the severed head might belong to the mechanic, the trailer suggests that he's bludgeoned in the head with a hammer. The face in the trailer appears to be Martin, but that's something audiences will just have to wait and see to be sure. Well then, the figure looks incredible. And now you kind of get a sense of what I'm talking about, but I do think that that's just for detail. If they're actually going to do it in the movie, I would rather it be Dana. He's way less tame with the kills when it comes to women. And I have nothing against women. Women are great. I love women. I've never personally had a girlfriend though, but I love women. And I feel like if they were to do it with a guy, it would have less impact to me. If they did it with a woman, it would have more impact. And that's all because if you take something and then you do something with it, but it's a different thing, depending on the demographic, it's not going to have an impact. Take Transformers, for example. The G1 fans, the first movie didn't really have an impact on them, so they watched the rest of the series, waiting for them to get progressively worse as they did for them. I'm a G1 fan. I love G1. It is my favorite iteration of Transformers. And I love the movies. I have no problem with the movies, except for Age of Extinction. So it's like that kind of, but Age of Extinction did have some bum-ass figures. Okay, so let's say you have Wonder Woman, right? Wonder Woman. Good old Wonder Woman. Cut to the end of the movie, it's Steve Trevor killing Ares and Wonder Woman's just getting beaten to a pulp. It has no impact anymore. That ending is because Steve wouldn't die then. And Wonder Woman would be useless, utterly. She would be utterly useless. So it's like, you appeal to that female demographic, which, in a sense, would have gotten you the ticket, but then at the end, if Steve is the one that kills Ares, there's no point to the movie anymore. So it's like, oh, sure. Other than that scene, it was great. Other than that scene. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, if you took Dana instead of Martin, it would make more sense. Because the demographic of females that are going to watch it aren't going to expect that. And I feel like that would have more of an impact on them than it would on guys. And I'm just saying. And I feel like having the impact is what makes a movie spectacular. So moving on to the next story. This severely pissed me off when I read this, or found out about it. Bumblebee director reveals the third Decepticon is not Starscream. Here's why this pisses me off. I was looking forward to seeing Starscream in this movie. I really was. And really, Starscream, Haley Steinfeld, the look of the movie in general, really had me sold on it. It really did. And then we get this piece of news, and I'm just like, you're really not helping your case with why this should exist. You really aren't. And I love Travis Knight. Kubo and the Two Strings was so good. But this, Starscream is such a fan favorite character. One of my favorite Decepticons. And your character isn't Starscream? It looks exactly like G1, just brought to live action. But isn't completely, because I don't remember the specific plane that the G1 version was, but this is an F-22 Phantom in the B movie. So it's like, okay, have a different vehicle mode. That doesn't bother me. But what bothers me is that even though I love Dorito Starscream is awesome, but At least give him something as to where he doesn't always look like a Dorito and we can't, and that people don't always make fun of him. You can't do that to your fans, Travis. I love you, man. I love you, but you can't do that to your fans. And you can't do that to the fans of the genre of Transformers, because I actually do consider Transformers its own genre, because I'm pretentious. But anyway, getting off that subject, Blitzwing is the third Decepticon in the Bumblebee, and is not Starscream as previously believed, even though somebody at Viacom said Starscream. Is Starscream in the movie? We don't fucking know. Paramount is shifting the focus and tone of the Transformers movies after Michael Bay's fifth film fizzled at the box office. Bullshit. It did not fizzle. It was good. I loved Last Night. I really did. Thought it was a decent movie. I thought it could have been better, but I didn't think it could have been worse than Age of Extinction. Nothing's worse than that movie. It's my least favorite movie of all time. And they're going back to the 80s to tell the origin of the movie and have paired the mute Autobot up with Haley Steinfeld, Charlie Watson, which is her name in the movie, which is not in the article. So I just thought I'd point that out. The film's first trailer tugged at the heartstrings of viewers and quickly made Bumblebee look like one of the surprise films of the year. Yes, it did. In that trailer, Star Wars fans, Transformers fans saw who they believed to be the famous flying Decepticon Starscream. It has since been announced that two fellow Decepticons will be the primary villains, but the identity of the flying Decepticon was not confirmed. By the way, those two other Decepticons are Shatter and Dropkick. You can find a picture of them on my Instagram, and that's where I talked about them. During the Bumblebee panel at SDCC, director Travis Knight confirmed that the Decepticon in question is not Starscream, but instead Blitzwing. Although this Decepticon is traditionally seen with purple and gray colors, it's actually purple and tan. The trailer shows a changed look. The decision to go with Blitzwing instead of Starscream could come down to an over-reliance on the latter so far. Starscream appeared in each of the first three Bay movies in prominent roles. There were even references to him in the latter two films. There was not a reference to Starscream in Age of Extinction. Maybe I have to rewatch it. But I don't remember a Starscream reference in AOE. But he was in Last Night, like his head, which doesn't make sense, because that would make Dark of the Moon not canon. So that would mean alright, so, for a second. Starscream was in the Last Night. His head, because Day Trader found it. But that would make Dark of the Moon uncanon if people think that is Starscream. Because his head becomes nothing. And when the studio series was announced and they said, hey, we're going to have Toys R Us exclusive Thundercracker, people were just like, what? He's not even in the movie. So why is, he is labeled as a Dark of the Moon character. People say he's not in the movie. And this is where my theory comes in. The guy that Sam blew up was not Starscream. It was Thundercracker, even though he looks entirely different. It's Thundercracker. Because it makes more sense. It ties everything together. And it makes... And it makes sense to have that be Starscream. Because that would make everything line up, mostly. In terms of Starscream's timeline in the series. But destroy that. Have the character that Sam blows up in Dark of the Moon be Starscream. You ruin your own timeline. You make your own series fall short. That's why I think that the con that Sam blew up was Thundercracker, not Starscream, because then you would just be either taking Last Night and Age of Extinction out of continuity, which I would have no problem with for Age of Extinction, but I actually really liked Last Night. And then you would be removing or you'd be removing the first 3 films out of the franchise to have continuity. With so many different Transformers to pull from, the creators may simply have wanted to bring in fresh characters this time around instead of recycling ones audiences have already seen multiple times. Blitzwing isn't just a flyer in Transformers lore, though. That is true. He also transforms into a tank. People who have seen G1 know that. Or just aren't idiots. The trailer, and he has the head switch thing. The trailer only showcased his flying form so far, but they could have more surprises in store. The film's other 2 Decepticons, Shatter, voiced by Angela Bassett, and Dropkick, voiced by Justin Theroux, were confirmed to be triple changers during the panel too. If both of them have multiple transportation forms, then it is very possible that Blitzwing will also get the chance to adopt his other form. The rest of Bumblebee's SDCC panel wasn't without updates though, however, Knight also confirmed the home planet of Cybertron will be included in some fashion. They showed new footage of the movie that isn't expected to be released online. Read the Screen Rant Bumblebee footage description here. With the various pieces of news and footage that were revealed at the panel, Bumblebee continues to make a strong impression even if it won't feature Starscream, as some hoped. And here's why I have a problem with it. Starscream should be in the movie. Starscream in G1 continuity is pretty much Bumblebee's arch nemesis. So why not put him in? It makes complete sense. I mean, Starscream in the movies pretty much has no nemesis, but in the G1 show, it's Bumblebee, pretty much. And plus the head looks nothing like Blitzwing, unless that's not even the full transformation. So we don't know. Maybe we're being punked on this. We have no idea. If we are being punked on this, maybe. I do think we're being punked on this. I really do. Because if it's Blitzwing, you better change color. You better. And the head. And if you don't do any of that, you better have at least the ability for him to transform into a tank. And if you're not going to change the head to allow the 3-head feature, you better at least give him the ability to transform into different heads in the tank. Like, I have no problem. Actually, I do have a big problem with the color being red and white and not purple and tan and yellow. And that we don't know if he can transform into a tank. Because his head looks so similar to Starscream, we don't even know if it's actually Starscream. So it's like, is Travis doing something different with this version of Blitzwing? Like, instead of the rotating head, is he gonna like move a head back, and then like another head is just gonna transform into place? Is that what's gonna happen? If that's the way they're gonna go with Blitzwing, I have no problem with it. But you ruin your like whole aspect of it if it's not Starscream, and if it's Blitzwing, and he doesn't have the ability to change heads, and if he doesn't have the ability to really do anything other than just transform into a jet and look like Starscream, because then the fans are just going to label him as Starscream, and then you're never going to hear the end of it. So that's just what I say. Back to horror. Jamie Lee Curtis hugs fan who says Halloween saved his life. Oh, it's so nice. During Universal's Halloween panel at SDCC, Jamie Lee Curtis left the stage to hug an attendee who explained why the first film saved his life. Universal brought 2 of their most anticipated releases to Hall H this year's Comic-Con, M. Night Shyamalan's Glass, which I'm so fucking pumped for. I loved Unbreakable. I haven't seen Split, but I really can't wait to see Split. And David Gordon Green's Halloween. This new Halloween film comes 40 years after John Carpenter's film and 9 after Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and reunites slasher Michael Myers with Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis, in a story that completely ignores all sequels and remakes. While horror films are made mostly for entertainment reasons, there are a few tricks and lessons to be learned from the characters when it goes to getting into survival mode, which is what one fan took away from Carpenter's film. Good. That was a mouthful, and I have no idea whatever. I have no. I'll have to re-roll the tape back, but I have no idea what the fuck I just said. My brain is mush after reading that, cause like I was just reading off words, not knowing what the fuck I was saying. I couldn't even hear myself. So yeah. I am pissed that they're discounting off Halloween 2. I really enjoy that movie. I actually think it is the best sequel or remake of the films. Not Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Carpenter's Halloween 2. Really love that one. During the Q&A session at Halloween's panel, an attendee told the crew and audience how Curtis's portrayal saved his life. When a home invader with a knife cut his phone line and tried to break into his house, the man thought to himself, what would Jamie do? He fought his way out and ran into the street screaming for help. He added that because of her, he is a victor and not a victim before Curtis walked off stage to hug him. In the first Halloween back in 1978, after Laurie finds the corpses of her friends and Michael slashes her arm, she runs out into the street screaming for help. Then she returns to the Doyle's house and manages to fight him long enough for Tommy and Lizzie to escape and scream for help, catching Dr. Loomis's attention. Prior to the Q&A session, Curtis said that what made Michael Myers so frightening were his random acts of violence, adding that her character has carried the trauma and PTSD of a victim of a random attack, which resonates with the man's story. Michael's randomness disappeared after Halloween 2 with the reveal of Michael being Laurie's brother, giving him a motive. As previously mentioned, this new film ignores the sequels, meaning that Laurie and Michael are not siblings, treating that twist instead as a myth and that originated after Michael's killing spree. We'll see how that randomness plays into this new film and learn the reasons, if any, behind him chasing Laurie once more. However fantastic and even nonsensical to some situations in horror films might be, they draw from reality to make the emotions as real as possible. In Michael Myers' case, the randomness of his acts were what made him a believable threat. If viewers learn a trick from these films that can be put into practice or in a real life or death situation, it's a major plus. And yeah, that is incredible. I never would have thought somebody would have taken Halloween as an inspiration on like, hey, I'm in this life or death situation. If I don't do this properly, I'm fucked. I'm gonna die if I don't do it right. So he runs out after an intruder breaks in. Me, being a little bitch that I am, I would have tried to stop him. Like, okay, in this situation, I don't know if this dude's single, married, or anything, or even has kids. So if he's single, what he did was the proper thing to do, which was scream for help, which is something everybody should do if an intruder walks into your home, or breaks into your home, rather. But if I was married, I had a kid in my house, that dude's fucking dying. I'm serious. If I have a kid in my house, dude's dead. He's dead. I'm protecting my wife. I'm protecting my child. Who, if you ever know, if I ever want a kid, it's a baby girl, and her name will be Monica. Love Friends too much. But yeah, I will not back down from a fight if it's like that. I will never do that. Never. But getting back to the James Gunn controversy, Dave Bautista criticizes James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 firing. Let's get into this bitch. Dave Bautista has spoken up in the wake of the shocking firing of Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn after the filmmaker's offensive tweets were unearthed yesterday. How they were unearthed, we don't even know. Well, I probably said it and then I just forgot, and I don't feel like going back to that article. The actor is known for playing Drax the Destroyer in the Marvel sub-series, and while his character has been snuffed out of existence following Thanos' deadly snap in Infinity War, he's expected to be back for the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which Gunn was supposed to write and direct. See, this is where the problem comes in for me. Like, okay, I don't entirely have a problem with Gunn's firing. I don't. What I have a problem with is everybody on the set of Guardians had such a great chemistry with him. And you can't replace that chemistry, so it's gonna be different. And I saw this I saw an Instagram post like, who do you think should helm the Volume 3? And I was just like, no one. Cancel it. James Gunn isn't doing it. It's not going to be the same, and they shouldn't, and it just shouldn't bother being made. And I saw people saying, Taika Waititi, and I was just like, no. People didn't like Thor Ragnarok. I have so many family members that were just like, Thor Ragnarok was too fucking terrible. I had a teacher that loves Marvel and said Thor Ragnarok was just too silly. It even though the first two Thor movies were god awful, Ragnarok was just too silly. It should have at least been a little toned down, and that's the issue and when I saw Ragnarok again, I was just like, yeah, yeah, no thanks. Even before Disney's swift action with regard to severing ties with Gunn, the filmmaker previously addressed the issue on Twitter after his past social media posts were brought to light, explaining that he changed and matured over the years and the jokes aren't a reflection of the man that he is. Despite this, the House of Mouse went on to terminate the filmmaker's directing synced with Marvel Studios shortly after Gunn issued an official statement accepting his employer's verdict regarding the matter and apologized for his past blunders. Now Bautista, who closely worked with Gunn in the first two Guardians of the Galaxy films, is publicly taking the director's side during this difficult time. As a part of the... Hey, Dave, be careful, man. You might get... You might just be like you might just be like Drax and just... Because that's what Disney does to people. I mean, they did it to me, motherfuckers. I'm kidding. But when I did take that Thanos thing, like, did Thanos come? Yeah, I died. Every single time I've died. As a part of the developing narrative that started with the resurfacing of Gunn's old disturbing and offensive tweets leading to Disney deciding to boot him out of his Marvel directing gig, Bautista has taken to his Twitter account to show support for the director. Vouching for Gunn's character, the former pro wrestler turned actor reiterates that everybody makes mistakes and that he is not okay with what's happening to him. Check out his full tweet below. I will have no more to say, but for right now, all I will say is this. James Gunn is one of the most loving, caring, good-natured people I've ever met. He is gentle and kind and cares deeply for people and animals. He's made mistakes. We all have. I'm not okay with what's happening to him. 100% fucking agree. Oh, and who's happy that Skyscraper bombed? I am. I had such high hopes, but I'm not gonna talk shit about my favorite actress, Neve Campbell. She is too good. Oh yeah, Scream. I completely forgot that, like, we have to do that Scream 5 article that I saw. I got shit. I'll get it up. Okay. Really, you pricks, I have it bookmarked. Do I not have internet right now? Oh well. Getting back to the other one. This issue has spawned different reactions and opinions from the fan community. Some laud Disney for quickly taking care of the controversy before it could possibly result in a bigger backlash. Meanwhile, others have argued that it's an overreaction to fire Gunn over tweets that in some cases were a decade old. There's something to be discussed about how much people can or can't be defined by their past. Case in point, MCU's own poster boy, RDJ, has had a very troubled past, which he bounced back from admirably. Yeah, RDJ he had problems with alcoholism and drugs. He was arrested multiple times. He bounced back from it, became Iron Man. look where he is now. He is Iron Man. He is the only person that we can ever see as playing Iron Man now. And now we look at this shit, and it's like, he changed in 9 years. Even though RDJ had a lot more time to redeem himself, he still redeemed himself. He could have had he could have had 2 years and he would have redeemed himself if he was on the mindset like he was after he got out of prison. He had that mindset. He had that mentality, and he didn't fall back on it. He did it. He bounced back. He's normal now. Fuck you, Marvel. Batista's other Guardians of the Galaxy co-stars have yet to share their thoughts about Gunn being fired. Further, it's important to note that while Disney has released an official statement about their decision to sever ties with the filmmaker, Marvel Studios has yet to comment on that matter. Gunn was poised to be a major factor in the MCU. How the MCU will shape up moving forward. Not only is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 expected to set up 10 years worth of new narrative for the franchise, with possible spin-offs featuring some of the most beloved members of the team. He was also tapped to oversee the cosmic side of the film series, which will be heavily explored in Phase 4, starting with the introduction of Captain Marvel and the Eternals. Yeah, that's just fucking bullshit. Yeah, fuck you, Marvel. So, moving on to our final story, unless I can get that one story up like I want to. Is it going to be an asshole? Yeah, it is. It's gonna be a douchebag. It's gonna be a little bitch. So, Peter Cullen crashes Bumblebee panel to demand an Optimus Prime movie, and rightfully fucking so. Legendary voice actor Peter Cullen, best known as the voice of Optimus Prime in various Transformers projects, crashed the Bumblebee panel at SDCC 2018 to demand a solo film for the Autobot leader. The beloved star reportedly stood in line among franchise fans who were waiting to ask director Travis Knight questions about the upcoming film. Knight appeared to be flustered as Cullen addressed him in character, wanting to know what does an Autobot have to do to get his own movie. Actually, no. I think I have the, no, I do not have that here. Never mind. I forgot I don't have Instagram on this phone. I have Instagram on that phone. This is the one I use for stop motions. The Bumblebee film, which is scheduled for release in 2018, is the first solo spin-off movie to emerge from the popular Transformers franchise. Based on the popular toy line, the series has spawned 5 films in the same universe since 2007. A 6th film was apparently in the works for release in 2019, but plans for further Transformers movies after Bumblebee have yet to be officially mapped out. The confrontation between Cullen and Knight was recorded and posted to Twitter by Fandango managing editor Eric Davis. The short video, which can be viewed below, shows Cullen being cheered by fans who recognized him even before he began to speak in the familiar voice of Optimus Prime. Haley Steinfeld, this is the tweet by the way, Haley Steinfeld says